received the order of service. It says that Richard Cannelloni. Where is Kathy Avery? I thought I was off the hook, because if Cannelloni gave it, I don't have to do it. I am Richard Cannarelli, and Cannelloni is one of the better names that I have been called. It's been Cannarellish, Cannellelli, and everything. But thank you, Kathy. My name is Richard Cannarelli, and I will be your worship associate. Most of you have seen me up here talking about the pledge campaign, and I can see from the look in your eyes that you would love for me to talk about the pledge campaign and giving money, but I'm going to resist the urge. I'm not going to do it. My job today is to welcome everybody. The people who have preceded me usually have this long and very eloquent narrative welcoming people, who we are and everything. I'm going to keep it simple and just simply say, we love all of you. Thank you for being here. You all are welcome. And I want to extend a special welcome to the people who are visiting us for the first time. If you are brave enough and willing, could you stand up and identify yourself so we can give a proper welcome? Oh, wow. Can you identify yourself, please?
My name is Jean Barlow, and I'm a friend of Barb Griffin.
Great, thank you. Where are you from, Jean?
Originally from Washington, D.C., but I came here by way of New York.
Well, very well. We're glad that you could join us today.
Thank you very much.
Can I ask you where you're from, who you are?
Good morning. I'm from Salem, Massachusetts, and attend the First Church of Salem, which was established in 1642.
Good.
So it's a little bit older than this one. And I'm here visiting my brother Jack.
You have a lot of friends here. Is anybody else here from Massachusetts? Please raise your hand. There you go. Half are from Massachusetts, the rest of the people are from Michigan. You folks, yes.
Hi, I'm Debbie, and this is my husband Frank Lamas. This is our first time, obviously. We're friends of Liz and Phil Kramer, and we're originally from Rochester and Syracuse, New York.
Well, I am too. Utica and Syracuse. And there's my wife. He's down there. Utica, Syracuse. Welcome.
Hi, I'm Dick Smith, and I'm in the whole row of guests here. And they're here from Massachusetts and Port Charlotte. These are my son, my daughter-in-law, and my daughter. And at the end down there, what a good friend, a longtime friend, Irene Morth. And she's up from Port Charlotte. So we've got quite a rendezvous going here. And, so,
Glad to have you with us.
Hello, I'm Wayne. I'm originally from Baltimore. I've lived here 42 years. Okay.
Glad to have you with us.
Hi, I'm Sharon, originally from D.C., Maryland area. I'm here with my shy husband, Michael, and today is the 4th anniversary of my beloved sister's birthday. She passed 4 years ago, and so she was a Unitarian Universalist up in New Jersey, so I thought this would be a really nice way to celebrate her life.
Did we miss anybody? No. This is the time of year where we reverse. Usually when people come down, we say, did you come back from New York? But people are going back. Is anybody going to be leaving us this week so we can give you a proper goodbye? We're very sorry to hear that. You know. Please have a safe trip back and come back again safe in the fall. I believe we have some announcements. Visitors, if you haven't already, please stop by the welcome table to fill out a visitor card. I think you've all done that. Our announcements this week are today a reminder to sign up for those wanting to participate in small shared meals. During the summer, have one more chance. The sheet is on the lanai. Tomorrow is Meatless Monday, and I'm sad to say we are not having Carnivore Tuesday this year. Okay? But Meatless Monday, please sign up on the lanai. Mahjong Tuesday, May 9th in Waters Hall. Please bring a card if you have one, even if it's not current. Rusty and seasoned players are welcome. We will be continuing Tuesdays with games and lunch. Bring a bag lunch and we will play Mahjong along with other games such as dominoes, cards, and Scrabble. Book group read for Tuesday, May 11th at 1 p.m. in the Waters Hall. The book is Personal Librarian by Marie Benedict and Victoria Christopher Murray. Mother's Day Tea. After service on May 14th at Ask the Linder, we will have a celebration of our female role models with coffee, tea, lemonade, water, and baked goods. You are welcome to bring a cup and something to share. Please RSVP by May 10th to Kathy Avery. If you have anything you feel comfortable sharing, we'd love to have you one Sunday in the sanctuary. We can create a service with you or for you. The YRE, we've had people teach about jellyfish and the human body, crafts and writing, plants and sports. Any and all hobbies or skills are of interest. Please contact Kathy Avery. John Van Camp will have a short update about social justice.
Good morning. So I'd like to update the congregation on the work of a subcommittee of the Social Justice Committee that was really formed in fairly short order when we learned about the openly bashing and the defaming of a the openly gay Sarasota board member. And at the same time, we learned about what the Sarasota board was about to contract with a very conservative Christian consulting company out of Michigan, out of Hillsdale, and, to try to turn they wanted to review the curriculum and all of the operations of the Sarasota School Board. Well, a number of people from this congregation joined hundreds of others, and it was called together in a very short order to join hundreds of others in protest. What was happening, how they were defaming this one individual, and the potential contract. And I must say, collectively, we were successful in stopping that contract, and really one small victory for public education. So, based on that, more recently, and based on really some phenomenal research by Serena Canarelli, not Canarelli, or Serena, where's your hand so that people can see? She did some phenomenal research, okay, that identified 10 different potential issues of concern that challenge Unitarian values and, quite frankly, American values. And these include, this is not all of them, but they include things like Don't Say Gay and the Parental Rights and Education Bill, the banning of books, the attempt to convert New College into a conservative Christian college, the elimination of advanced placement for African American and Native American studies, and the Stop Woke Act, and many others. So these values we think really go against, or this work goes against our values. So we're stepping up to do our little part to take charge. We've got a growing committee, and quite frankly, there are a number of people already who have been a part of this effort. And if they could stand, so you can see who's been a part of this effort. Yeah. So we started exploring what other groups, for example, the League of Women Voters, and the Venice Interfaith Community Association, and other faith-based organizations that we can partner with. We're starting to organize and take our next steps. There's the beginning of a banned book fair that's being planned for October. That'll be a phenomenal kind of event and whatever. So please, we think that there may be other members in this congregation who would like to join us. So please see any of us afterwards or myself. Our next meeting is tentatively scheduled for 10 o'clock on May 12th, but I need to confirm the room, but I'll send that out. But please see us if you'd like more information. Thank you.
One final word about that. As a member of that committee, I want to thank John for his tremendous leadership. in that I feel very confident about where we are going, and John has done an excellent job in getting a bunch of Unitarians to come together. We have 10 people or so, which means we have about 30 or 40 different opinions. And John has done a great job.
I'll be playing the Prelude, the Fugue, in D major by Johann Sebastian Bach, the first book of the Welttemper Clavier.
One final note before we light the chalice. I'm pleased to say that our service today will be led by our friend and co-member Dennis Higdon, or should I say the very Reverend Pastor Dennis Higdon. We are now about to enter a sacred space as I light the chalice. May the light we now kindle inspire us to use our powers to heal and not to harm, to help and not to hinder, to bless and not to curse, to serve you, Spirit of freedom. We'll now have our choral anthem, Turn the World Around by Harry Belafonte.
We didn't know when we picked this how appropriate it would be, having just had to say goodbye to Harry Belafonte at the age of 96, a wonderful singer, actor, and a tremendous civil rights activist. And I also want to apologize, I didn't get a credit on the slide for our own Eddie from the soundboard, who will be playing percussion with us.
Good morning. Welcome to UCOV. My name is Dennis Higdon, and I was going to tell you a little bit about my background. It's the introduction to the talk I'm going to give later on today. I was raised a Catholic. I'd like to say now that I'm a recovering Catholic because you never, ever completely get over being Catholic. But at age 18, I had an epiphany. I had a moment of truth where I thought to myself, how could a loving God create a hell where people were tortured with flame forever? That doesn't make sense. Turns out that I wasn't first to think that. Hosea Ballou, a very famous American Universalist in the 18th century, he was a theologian, he came up with that conclusion. And later on, a couple years later than that, I found out from my Christian friend that Mahatma Gandhi was in hell. And I said, well, Mahatma Gandhi is in hell. I don't want to be in prison. I don't want to be in heaven. So this doesn't make sense. So that's what I'm going to be talking about, the seventh principle of UU, which is the independent web of life, which includes us. What's next? Oh. Gathering hymn. Okay. Your gathering hymn is number 134. Our world is one world. The words will be posted on the screen, or you can look in your book, the grade book on 134. Now we're going to have the children's story, and it's Shel Silverstein's The Giving Tree. So if any of you are young or young at heart, please join me up here. I'm going to read the story to you. You guys ever heard this story before?
Yes.
Oh, okay. If I get through this without crying, I'll be doing good. Some people think this is a parable or a story about how humans treat the earth. The Giving Tree by Shel Silverstein. Once there was a tree. And she loved a little boy. And every day the boy would come. And he would gather her leaves and make them into crowns and play king of the forest. Sounds like fun. He would climb up her trunk and swing from her branches and eat apples and they would play hide and seek. And when he was tired, he would sleep in her shade. And the boy loved the tree very much, and the tree was happy. But time went by, and the boy grew older, and the tree was often alone. Then one day the boy came to the tree, and the tree said, "Come, boy, come and climb up my trunk, and swim through my branches, and eat apples, and play in the shade, and be happy." "I'm too big to climb and play," said the boy. "I want to buy things and have fun. I want some money. Can you give me some money?" "I'm sorry," said the tree, "but I have no money. I've only leaves and apples. Take my apples, boy, and sell them in the city. Then you'll have money, and you'll be happy." And so the boy climbed up the tree and gathered her apples and carried them away, and the tree was happy. But the boy stayed away for a long time, and the tree was sad. And then one day, the boy came back, and the tree shook with joy, and she said, "Come, boy, climb up my trunk, swing from my branches, be happy." "I'm too busy to climb trees," said the boy. "I want a house to keep me warm. I want a wife, and I want children, and so I need a house. Can you give me a house?" "I have no house," said the tree. "The forest is my house. But you may cut off my branches and build a house, and then you'll be happy." And so the boy cut off the branches and carried them away to build his house. There he goes. And the tree was happy. But the boy stayed away for a long time. And when he came back, the tree was so happy, she could hardly speak. "Come, boy," she whispered. "Come and play." "I'm too old and sad to play," said the boy. "I want a boat that will carry me far away from here. Can you give me a boat?" "Cut down my trunk and make a boat," said the tree. "Then you can sail away and be happy." And so the boy cut down the trunk and made a boat and sailed away. And the tree was happy, but not really. And after a long time, the boy came back again. "I'm sorry, boy," said the tree, "but I have nothing left to give you. My apples are gone." "My teeth are too weak for apples," said the boy. "My branches are gone," said the tree. You cannot swing from them." "I'm too old to swing on branches," said the boy. "My trunk is gone," said the tree. "You cannot climb." "I'm too tired to climb," said the boy. "I'm sorry," said the tree. "I wish I could give you something, but I have nothing left to give. I'm just an old stump. I'm sorry." "I don't need very much now," said the boy. "Just a quiet place to sit and rest. I'm very tired." "Well," said the tree, straightening herself up as much as she could. "Well, that old stump is good for sitting and resting. Come, boy, come sit down. Sit down and rest." And the boy did. And the tree was happy. That's it. Now we're going to sing you to your class. Now we have celebration and sorrows. Would anyone like to get the microphone and share something with us? Something that is personal, that's not about anybody else, that you wish to share? Not political? Yes, we have someone. Someone will bring you the mic.
I hope it's not political. It is a sorrow, and it tags on to what John brought to us this morning. I just learned this morning that the Florida legislature is very quietly about to they passed a law that's going to be sent to be signed, allowing any healthcare provider, from doctor to hospital to ambulance driver to clinic to lab, anything, to refuse care to anyone based on a personal, ethical, or moral, or religious view. So I hope all of you will join in John's effort and make this part of our social justice agenda. Thank you.
Thanks, Roxy, for pointing that out. That's awful. On an upbeat note, Steve and I are moving not far, 3 miles away, and he's out front, so he wanted me to make sure and thank all the fabulous people from UCOV who came and helped us move boxes last week, and we really appreciate it very much.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Joe McCulley, and with my partner, Deb Malillo, we've been spending the last month here and enjoying Venice. This is our third time that we've been here in April. But this is the first year that we've enjoyed being with all of you. And we want to thank you for your kindness and your generosity. And we hope to see you in the future.
Okay, I got some offering words for you, but before we pass the baskets around, I wish to share something with you in the spirit of Reverend Amy. It's a little joke. It's about 3 Unitarians who died and went to heaven, and guess who they met there? St. Peter, of course. And St. Peter says, I've heard about you UUs. I know you try to do a good job. You're good people. I'll tell you what, I'll let you come into heaven if you can tell me who Jesus is. So the first Unitarian steps up, he says, Jesus. I think, isn't he the guy that when a child loses a tooth, he puts it under his pillow, and Jesus gives him $1. And Peter says, no, that's not it. So he turns to the second Unitarian and says, okay, who's Jesus? He says, Jesus. He says, on Easter time, and St. Peter says, yes. He says, Jesus hides the eggs so the children can find him. He says, no, that's not it. He says, what's the matter with you Unitarians? He says, so he turns to the third Unitarian and says, what do you got to say? He says, well, Jesus. He says, he was a preacher. Some people say he was the Son of God. He was crucified. And St. Peter says, yes. And on the third day, he rose from the dead. St. Peter says, yes. But when he got out, he saw his shadow. So there were 6 more weeks of winter. Peter said, come on in anyway. It's okay. Don't worry about it. We know that our financial contributions to this congregation come from sacrifice and hard work. We're grateful for this. We commit together to ensure the funds we gather collectively to do a greater good for ourselves and our world than they could have done alone. May there be an offering to sustain and grow the life and mission of this congregation. May we give in love and hope. course, is going to sing Bob Dylan's Blowing in the Wind.
Again, we had no idea how appropriate this would be.
For our first reading today, will be quotations from the book The Overstory by Richard Powers. He writes, "You and the tree in your backyard come from a common ancestor. 1.5 billion years ago, the two of you parted ways. This is not our world with trees in it. It is a world of trees where humans have just arrived. People aren't the apex species they think they are. Other creatures, bigger, smaller, slower, faster, older, younger, more powerful, call the shots, make the air, and eat the sunlight. Without them, we are nothing. We found that trees could communicate over the air and through their roots. Trees take care of each other. They sense the presence of other life nearby. A tree learns to save water. Trees feed their young and synchronize their mass. They bank resources and warn kin. Trees send out signals to wasps to come and save them from attacks. A forest knows things. They wire themselves up underground. There are brains down there, ones our own brains aren't shaped to see. Root plasticity, solving problems and making decisions. Fungal synapses, what else do you want to call it? Link enough trees together and a forest grows aware. Trees have long been trying to reach us, but they speak on frequencies too low for people to hear. Trees know when we are close by. The chemistry of their roots and the perfumes of their leaves pump out change when we are near, when you feel good after a walk in the woods, and maybe that a certain species are bribing you. For our meditation today, let us be a quiet time among us by Barbara Hamilton Hallway. Let there be a quiet time among us. Spirit of life in us and around us, here is our chance, once again, to live like we wish the world would live. May we find within ourselves the courage to be who we are. May we know when it is time to listen and when it is time to speak. May we trust ourselves to be the ones to find the words that need to be said or to do what needs to be done. May we trust one another and know there are many ways to go through life. May we know that though we cannot change some of what life gives us, we can choose how we deal with what we are given. We are coming into our power, and together we can make possible justice and love. We are all connected. We depend upon one another more than we know. We are one body. So be it, blessed be, amen. And now we enter into a moment of silence to contemplate these thoughts. Our interlude today is Elisa Franca's first arabesque by Debussy. Our second reading today, Ask My Dog Percy How I Should Live My Life by Mary Oliver. Love, 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 says Percy, and run as fast as you can, along the shining beach or in the rubble or the dust. Then go to sleep. Give up your body heat, your beating heart, then trust. Our sermon today is We Are One by Dennis Higdon.
Thank you, Richard. Every living thing is made of cells. You got the cell, and the nucleus, and the chromosomes, and the DNA, and the genes. And the whole thing's in the genes called the genome. DNA is the blueprint or the building blocks for all life. Genetic DNA overlap between all humans is 99.9%. So if you think we're quite a bit different, we're not. We're almost exactly the same, no matter who we are. Genome variations, which means all the gene structure, all the chromosomes, variations among all humans is 0.5%. Genetic DNA overlap between humans and chimpanzees is 98.8%. There's Jane Goodall, and Jane taught us that the chimpanzees have a very complex social network, and they're not that different from us. Genome agreement of humans with cats is 90%, dogs 82%. So you may think you're a dog person, but in fact, you're more like a cat. And you're more like a monkey than either one. Cows 80, mice 67, and so forth. Even down to the simple little protozoa, 49% the same. That's pretty darn close. Now you know the guy on the left, and you probably heard about the thing in the middle of the tree, but does anybody know who the person on the right is? Who is that? That's Groot, that's right. Guardians of the Galaxy, it's a Stan Lee creation. And the new movie's coming out May 5th. So if by the way, if Groot had DNA, which he doesn't exist, it'd probably be about 75%, you think? Because the tree's 50%. We're 50% the same as a tree. All life on Earth probably evolved from single-cell creatures. And they talk about the fumaroles in the ocean, they think is one of the sources of life, that all these chemicals came out of the overheated water and mixed with the things, and it created a life soup. Not a life cereal, a life soup. The DNA all life shares suggests we also share a group consciousness. The Buddha said, nothing exists entirely alone. Everything is in relationship to everything else. And one of the threads that runs through my talk today is Buddhism. And I did join a Sangha a few years ago. And it is an important part of my life. And Buddha does teach that there is a universal consciousness. String theory. String theory explains that all matter and energy are connected by strings that vibrate at different frequencies. Nothing stands alone. Everything is connected. Does that sound familiar? Nothing stands alone. By a charge, a gravity, or a physical union. In other words, every molecule, everything throughout the universe is connected to something else. Now, strings may stretch for miles, yet retain a connection. When a sister cell perishes, so does the other sister, even if far away. And that reminds me, one of my favorite composers is Felix Mendelssohn. And he had an older sister named Fanny, who was also a composer. And they played a lot together. Of course, they worked a lot together. In May of 1847, Fanny died. She was 40 years old. Immediately after that, Felix went into depression. He didn't know she died. He didn't hear about that for a matter of weeks. But his health continued to decline. Within 6 months, he was dead at age 38. A strong young man was dead. Now, who can explain what happened there? I'd like to think possibly that Felix and Fanny, who grew up together, who were very close, very intimate, probably had a lot of strings between them, a lot of connection. When she died, he immediately felt it. Now, that may seem too esoteric to you, but this is a story you probably heard before. I just was thinking about you when you called. You know, if your sister or your brother calls you, you think, I was just thinking about you. Now, how could that be? How could you know ahead of time that that person was going to call? And yet we do. I think the strings may explain some of that. Could this prove that all matter is connected? That we all share a common consciousness connected by matter and energy? That science and religion may yet achieve a harmony that unites all existence? Because I've always tried to find, it's like Einstein looking for the unified theory. He never quite found it. This is like the unified theory for me. Something that combines science and spirituality. The UU seventh principle is respect for the independent web of all existence of which we are a part. We are a part of this. Now, some people believe in something called Gaia. You ever heard of that? Gaia? Gaia believes that the entire Earth is one organism, that we are all together as one thing. Just like some of those forests in Colorado that have roots that connect with each other. That's one of the biggest living thing on Earth. And that in that principle, we share not just a physical connection, but also a mental connection. The Washat religion of the Pacific Northwest Indians believes that the spirit wants them to throw off violent ways and not buy, sell, or disrespect the earth. The earth is not something to be bought and sold. It's something for us all to share. This is kind of a foreign attitude to what a lot of people think. Sages believe that the simultaneous duality and unity of all existence. Prayers begin with an address to the Wakanda above, not Wakonda, Wakanda. Wakanda above and the Wakanda below, the two great forces of the universe, the sky and the earth. Sages believe these two forces must remain united in order to sustain life. Inuits believe that Anua, or souls, exist in all people and animals. Now, if you live way up north near the North Pole, there isn't a lot of vegetables you can eat. These people eat a lot of meat, a lot of animals. But they realize that the animals have souls. And they follow a complex system of taboos to assure that animals will continue to be available to hunters. The Inca Quechua people believe in Pachamama, or World Mother, who wants us to respect all things in the universe. The religious sect of Jains wear face masks to avoid swallowing an insect because they know all life is related and sacred. You've probably done that too. You've seen a little bug and think, I'll just carry him outside. You're walking down the street, you don't want to step on those ants. Albert Schweitzer was a great humanitarian. He was a missionary and a doctor who went to French Northwest Africa. And he was also involved with Buddhism, and he respected the Jains quite a bit. His quote here, "We must fight against the spirit of unconscious cruelty with which we treat animals. Animals suffer as much as we do. True humanity does not allow us to impose such suffering on them. It is our duty to make the whole world recognize it. Until, this is the important part, until we extend our circle of compassion to all living things, humanity will not find peace." And we haven't found peace. Mahatma Gandhi said the greatness of a nation can be judged by the way its animals are treated. Before we go looking for life on other planets, can we start killing life on this one? Where do we go when we sleep? Or when we meditate? Or when we die? I believe we return to a universal mind. Biologically, all life came from the same origin and is all related. We know that from genetics. Physically, everything is believed to be connected by strings. That's the string theory. We may share mentally what we also share physically. Psychiatrist Carl Jung believed we are all part of a universal mind of group consciousness. Hindu Krishna consciousness believes that all life is sacred, interdependent, and part of an undivided universal whole. Mother Teresa said, if we have no peace, it is because we have forgotten we belong to each other. Many believe that what we perceive as reality is just a dream. That a greater reality exists, which we can experience through spirituality, like meditation, which results in a group consciousness. Einstein said reality is merely an illusion, albeit it's very persistent. Now, what did he mean by that? He said something else I wanted to share with you. Einstein said, a human being is a part of a whole, called by us the universe. He experiences himself, his thoughts and feelings, as something separated from the rest, a kind of optical delusion of his consciousness. This delusion is a prison. Our task must be to free from this prison by widening our circle of compassion to embrace all living creatures. And that our genetic agreement and string theory may coexist with the shared consciousness of all existences, a union of science and religion. That we are all the same, that we all share the same hopes and dreams, that we're really all just one. Thank you. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of the community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.
Our closing hymn is number 123, Spirit of Life.
Oh
friends, when you go from here, know that our hearts are always in a holy place, for we are always connected to one another. Know that deep down, our hearts beat in one universal rhythm. May we each find the sacred space to hear it.